Okay, so let me see how many more people just jumped on. Okay, so let's just do a quick refresher. My name's Erica Cavelli. I'm out here in Boston. I do some coaching for Chirag, but I've been a realtor for the last 17 years. 13 of it has been sort of more pedal to the metal. I run a team. We represent the top 2% of all agents in Massachusetts and the top 1.5% of agents in the United States. Again, we're here to source some and find some off-market deals, get to some grassroots, some things that we might not have had to do in the past, but now that the market is changing, inventory is still painfully low. How are we finding these deals and where are we going? So let's dive in. Okay, so I gave you my quick introduction. We're going to go over understanding off-market deals, what that means. We're going to talk about building relationships and how meaningful that is. We're going to talk about leveraging technology and tools, market outreach, and strategies that you can apply today, and practical methods. Okay, so what is an off-market deal? I guess let's get a little ahead of myself, but basically we're unlocking some hidden potential in the real estate market for your clients. The success, I think this is a really good statement, success in real estate often lies in seeing what others don't. Off-market deals are the hidden treasures waiting for those with the vision to find them. Really those with the grit. I think that there's a lot of chatter around grit lately. I think that's what you need in order to be successful as a real estate agent. And I think that that's what it takes to be able to find these off-market deals. It's grimy, it's dirty, it's not pretty, and it takes a lot of legwork. So understanding off-market deals, discovering their hidden value, and off-market real estate, and how that makes you stand out and win. So defining off-market deals, what is an off-market deal? Obviously, it's something that hasn't hit the multiple listing service yet. It's something that most people don't know about, right? So it's this pocketed piece of information that you're privy to and that you went through and sourced and found for your client. So that's the immediate value proposition that you can add to or as your service, or as a package deal with your service, right? That is and can be what differentiates you from the rest of the marketplace. I mean, most of us on here are Compass agents. We immediately have those tools right in front of us as a gift. And whether it's a private exclusive or coming soon that's in your market or somewhere across the country, it's information that you know about that not everyone else is privy to. The private exclusive being the most coveted because only us Compass agents really know about those, right? So you have these tools that are actually already being fed to you without actually even having to do a lot of the legwork. And on the flip side of things, you should be utilizing these tools yourself. So when you have listings, our strategy is always that we're going to be, and strategy is what sells, right? Because anybody can really put a number on a property, but what's the strategy that you're going to put towards it to apply for your client to help them attain that number, right? And so part of our strategy is always making sure that we're going through private exclusive and coming soon. And even if it's that your client doesn't want to sell in those places, at least you're getting some traction then to sort of even at least test the value that you're looking to achieve. So great for this segment where we're finding off market deals, but also, an invaluable tool as we collaborate without ego to understand what other people have and be able to share that amongst the individuals that we're doing business with daily. So your immediate value proposition, that's there for you, right? But then if you can dig a little bit deeper beyond that, you're then, really starting to stand out. And in this competitive market, especially where there's such low inventory, it's super important that you have the skill set to be able to obtain some things. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not sure necessarily the who's on the call or what type of business do you do, but we work with a lot of developers and we're looking for really grimy products, but then we work with sellers, buyers, regularly that are looking for products that they just aren't seeing on the market. And and these are single family homes or condos in the respective areas that we work. And we really want to understand what inventory is being held back from us that maybe we're waiting on achieving. And then winning in an off-market real estate deal, right? Like, let's say you find something that maybe hasn't even gotten to another realtor's hands yet, but maybe it's something that when we go through these steps that, it's a homeowner and the savings that you can pass on to them, but then the savings that you can achieve for your buyer at the same time. So we can go over kind of more of that. And this can be interactive. So if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to pipe in, and it's hard for me to pay attention who is raising hands and whatnot, because I'm not sure how that like really happens here exactly, but you're welcome to just like jump in and say, hey, I got a question or whatnot. So, so there's that. Okay. So let's talk about building relationships and navigating the real estate landscape through strategic alliances. And I think that, I often talk about how when you first get into the business, you're looking at everybody as your competition. In actuality, we all have to play in the same sandbox. And when we realize how small the pool of people that we do business with is, if the top 10% of agents do 90% of the business, then we're always coming into the same people, right? And so it's super important to be friendly with those people and to make sure that even though what the buyer understands, or let's say when anybody's outside of this business perspective, I feel like is mostly like, I want the shark, I want the jerk agent, but we all know that we don't like to work with that person. And it really inhibits you from obtaining information that really can help you in other circumstances. So as my grandmother always say, you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. That applies here a lot. You don't have to be best friends with these people, but you do have to stay and play nicely with them, because they're going to be able to give you some good intel, especially in times like this. But let's talk about collaborating with agents, but then other people in this industry as well, right? So let me just connect over here. Okay, so we have networking with industry professionals. So we all have I think that there's a saying that you should really have 7 of your, you should have 7 top sort of connections in the industry that you do business with regularly and that you trade business with, sort of like your own little BNI. As in, you should have an accountant, you should have an attorney, you should have maybe a builder, and all these people that you can sort of build relationships with. And so let's talk about, the people that we can network with regularly. And let's say your well is dry and you're really looking for business. Well, I'm going to give you a story anecdotally. This morning, I met with a builder in a local town, and actually we had been sort of like eyeing each other for a while. And I had it in my phone to give this person a call. And I got on the phone with them eventually because I was going through my pictures, and I was like, oh yeah, I said I was going to give this person a call. So I made a call and a connection, and she said, that's so funny that you called me because I had it on my agenda to reach out to you. So kind of beat her to the punch. And anyways, what's interesting, what came out of that conversation is that there's this developer and or this builder, right? And they're not a developer, but they are designed to build. And why that's important to me is that, they meet with people regularly. And in a market where people are stuck in their 2.5% interest rate, what is, their moves are they make do with what they have, and figure out what the pricing of that is going to be and what value it's going to add to their property, or they decide that it's the time to make the move because it makes more sense for them to take on a larger mortgage payment. And so when we talk to builders, it's like, well, there's this perfect synergy. If I can create a relationship with them, then I can help them to understand what they're getting into before, or their potential person, right? Because this person's on the fence generally. And if they're not willing to pay their price, well, now if I can be their direct referral source, then now I have the opportunity to potentially sell their house. So it's definitely a win-win. And I think that there's something to be said about this opportunity now, right? Like, one of the things I'm going to do to source some off-market deals, and like, we're always trying to come up with like, game marketing strategies and whatnot, but everybody is locked into this low interest rate, and that's what's creating none of this, of the lack of inventory and no movement, right? And so my plan is to go out and talk about the fact, and let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Let's not try to get these people to move. Let's just tell them what they need to do so that, and this is where we can utilize even Compass Concierge potentially, right? But like, let's tell them what they need to do, create the relationship with them so that when the time comes, A, they can live in the house and be more comfortable there now, because maybe it's too small, or maybe they don't love it. Maybe they need to do some updates. Maybe that'll be the thing that kind of Band-Aid fix it for the moment, but ultimately they need more space. And when the time is right and things maybe settle out and it feels better for them, then you would have given them the good direction to provide them with the uplift they need when the time comes to sell. So just something that you guys can kind of chew on as well. So these relationships are invaluable. Let's talk about like probate and estate attorneys and all these people that have these adjusters is a good one, right? Like I have a client whose house burned down recently, you know, and it's super, you know, unfortunate circumstance. So she has a private adjuster. Well, the private adjuster is sending all these people over there. And, you know, if you think about the situation, now this person, it's just been claimed as a tear down. Okay. So there's nothing to be salvaged here. This woman's like 60 something years old. It's set up on a hill, and there's probably about $800,000 worth of value that she'll be getting from the insurance company. On top of that, she has this lot of land. Now, my direction to her, and this might happen more regularly than not, is that let's just start over. This is not the most ideal location for you anyways. But if I have that connection with the private adjuster, then I might have gotten that layup for this off-market opportunity. Okay. Okay, let's talk about collaborating with agents and why that's important. Okay. Just recently, because there's been such a lack of inventory, I have a buyer client who wants a single family home in Somerville. I don't know if any of you guys know anything about Somerville, but it's the most densely populated city in the United. I don't even know if it's the United States or Massachusetts. It's either or, but it's like the Brooklyn of New York. Okay. These people want a single family. They want urban suburbia. So they basically want a single family with a backyard and parking and all this stuff. And that doesn't really happen in Somerville. So now I have to really comb through because there is 0 things that are on the market now. So what did I do? I took a list of the top 20 agents in Somerville, and I went through every single one of these people. And granted, I have rapport with all of them now, right? And not only like if I didn't have rapport with them, well, I'm starting to gain rapport because people are like, wow, that's interesting. I didn't even think to do that myself, right? So I called them all up, and it was basically a 3-for-1. Number 1, I'm developing more of a relationship with them. Number 2, I'm seeing what they have off market they're willing to share with me. And number 3, I'm sharing with them what I have off market. So there's a complete synergy. I got a list of probably 10 properties that haven't hit the market yet, and some really good intel that I could take to my buyer client that nobody else is willing to do. Most agents are very lazy. That's why the top 10% of us do most of business, right? Because nobody's willing to do that grunt work, that grit. And so if you can be a part of that, I think that is really where you're showing some serious value, right? So, so there's that. Partnering with brokers. I mean, same thing. And wholesalers. I mean, those people are maybe not our best friends, but ultimately, you know, they have inventory. So we want to know about it. If we can help them unload something, well, we just did something for them and vice versa. So connecting with those wholesalers and understanding that they're holding some inventory, they're doing a lot of this front work themselves, and we can use them to our advantage because they're generally buying stuff like that's like well under market value. And then even on top of that, maybe there's some savings, right? Okay, let's see. So does anybody have any questions on that? Silent group. Okay, so leveraging tools and technology, your digital avenues and hidden gems. So let's say,
welcome to the living room at 38
oh,
Grove.
right. Hold on one second. I'm talking in the background. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's talk about harnessing technology and off-market discovery. So So we're going to utilize some of these tools to find some things, right? So of course, there's private exclusive and coming soon. That's right in your Compass toolkit. But outside of that, there's some commercial agents who love to sneak things onto like LoopNet and CoStar and some of those platforms. So it's good to be able to pour through those. Then in your own market, you want to know where some of these top agents live, because again, if the top 10% of agents do 90% of the business, usually there's some sort of like clout situation going on, some sort of club, whatnot. In Massachusetts right now, it's called TAN. And so it's a top agent network. And so you got to pay to play, but then you know what's out there, right? So the top agent network, where all of our products go there first, right? So during that coming soon phase, when we open it up past the Compass agents, we're going to pop it onto the top agent network to let other successful agents know that this thing is going to be an option. And the reason why we do that is because we want to work with other top agents. They know what the values of property are. They know how to put deals together, and they know how to keep deals together. So how am I doing on time? Okay. So that's a very important spot. Are there other avenues like that in your prospective markets? I'm positive there are. There's Facebook, and there's certain groups. There's something called All Agent Connect which is probably one of the biggest ones, but there's a whole bunch of little portals, and we kind of make sure that we kind of at least make sure that we explore a lot of them. It's hard to post everything everywhere, right? But at least if you have one, it's kind of like being on social media. It's hard to post things everywhere, but like if you focus on one that has generally the most amount of intel, that's where you kind of want to play. Exploring, again, when we're looking for off markets, we're getting down and dirty. So we're looking on Craigslist, we're looking for yard sales. Nextdoor is a good one. Facebook groups, like your own specific community, like if there are yard sales popping up, or you catch wind of things that like seem fishy, those are the things. There's some other, let's see, capitalizing on Zillow coming soon, and Redfin coming soon, and some of those platforms like Lamakia has a coming soon in Massachusetts. The Make Me Moves. So the Make Me Moves on Zillow there's a seller who wants to try to play a little bit, who doesn't really know what the value of their property is, who's probably undervaluing it, and they're going out there to say, hey, if you give me the right number, I would move, right? So there are those opportunities. So if you're looking, then I would, maybe set up a game plan for yourself, and time block sometimes through your week to do a few of these things every day. You can't do all of them at once, but if you're there and you're looking there are certain places, these are certain places that you can be going depending upon, what it is that you're looking for, and whether it's you're looking for listings for yourselves or specific things for buyers that you have, developers, investors, whoever it is. And of course, like we talked about multiple times, utilize Compass, and workplace too. Connect with your other Compass agents in workplace. And then there are other things, by the way, like Realm is I don't know if anybody's attached to Realm, but it's a group of luxury agents that again, it's one of these groups that you kind of have to pay to be in, but that's a nation / worldwide group that you might see some private exclusives over there as well. So okay, marketing and outreach, crafting your off-market engagement plan. Okay, so let's talk about other techniques that you can utilize. So using direct mail for campaigns, and I know that sounds archaic, but honestly, I think that mail is still a really good tool for us. And I'll tell you a perfect example, okay? So not only do we do this, like if I have a buyer that wants to be in a specific neighborhood, but there's nothing that's come up in this neighborhood, okay? And they have a few streets. I want to collect the few streets that they want to be on. Then I want to go into public records, and I want to look for who has owned their house for the last like 20 plus years, okay? Who doesn't have a mortgage on their house? Who's done with having their kids? Who's moving on? And let me collect this list. And I'm just going to send them a blanket mailer. And whether it's like, maybe it's 300 pieces that we send out or whatever it is, right? But it's not a ton. We want to be sort of confined specifically to the specific area, because I think if you go too broad, it kind of gets lost and then you're spending too much money and you're blowing through your budget. So you do want to be specific, but you're doubling down. Number one, if you find something that's off market for your buyer, that's a win. Whether it's the right fit or not, it's still a win. You get to take information to them to say, hey, we did this for you. We spent money on you to show you our efforts and let you know that we're different from your regular agent. And number two, yeah, we source these things, but if it isn't the right thing, then you just got to lay up for a potential listing appointment. So now you know that these people are potentially willing to sell. And if you can get your foot in the door and get them to consider having you come in and help them to understand not only the value, but the strategy that you can apply to help them get these things, and use information like private, exclusive, and coming soon, because maybe they want to be private about it. Maybe they don't want to let everybody in the neighborhood know, but maybe you could just sign them up for a month or 2 or 3 months instead of the full tank of gas, which is like a 6-month contract. And maybe you can just say, hey, listen, if I floated this privately out to my community of agents who have buyers that are ready, willing, and able to sell, would you be interested if you could get the price that you want, right? So you're doubling down when you're doing stuff like that. Leveraging and reconnecting, recognition campaigns. Let's see. Targeted mailers, specific buildings. Okay, so here's an example for you. Okay, so I had a seller who was a buyer, and the seller, she didn't really want to move until we found her, her ideal location. And her ideal location, she was 60, she's like mid-60s or so, different client than the fire client. But so she's mid-60s. She had a really beautiful condo in Porter Square, that's in Somerville, and like 2 incredible decks and like great lighting, beautiful space, whole driveway, garden area, whatnot. She loved her home and she had no real reason to move other than she wants to age gracefully. And so what does that mean? That means she's looking for a building with an elevator, a parking spot, and those things are difficult to find. They're not a dime a dozen. So we get to narrow it down pretty quickly because she knew that she wanted to be in Somerville, and then she knew she wanted to be in a specific area of Somerville. So we found this building. We blanket mailered the whole building, and I got a phone call. Hey, Erica, I got your mailer. I am interested in selling. Great. Can I bring my buyer by? Now, I brought her by, and it took like 4 months for that all to come together because I still had to sell her house. But the good news is that I didn't have any competition, and this was like last October. So it was like a little wonky then too. And it was hard to negotiate because you're dealing directly with the owner. But the juice is worth a squeeze, because that story is an invaluable piece I can put in my back pocket. And if anybody knows anything about selling, it's storytelling. And if I can tell that story 1,000 times over, that usually helps to win our clients, right? Okay, let's talk about like We Buy Houses. That's certainly something. I'm working with a developer right now who, puts that slogan around everywhere. And that's something that you can use in some capacity. Encourage the use of personal social media, right? I think that it is an underused tool. I think we all want to point people in the direction of our professional pages. Like we want everybody to go to our professional page. Oh, come and look at my professional Instagram page. But unfortunately, people are just so bogged down with so much information. They don't want to look at your professional page. They usually probably don't go to it. It's probably not there at the top of mind, but they are all of your sphere, your family and friends, as if anybody's on social media, they are following your personal page, right? And so use that to your advantage. If you have something specific that you're looking for, put it out there. If you have something specific to present, put it out there. So you have a single family that you're looking for in this particular suburban neighborhood, and you're looking for 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, and a 2-car garage. I have a buyer that's looking. If anybody that's looking to sell, please have them connect with me. I think that it is an incredibly powerful tool. You don't know who you're going to see, but it's a way to mushroom information to people like in a great and incredible way, because most of your business should really come from your sphere anyways. It's sphere, past clients. If you're looking at your business model and you track that, that's generally where your business is coming from. So use social media and use all of the platforms. I mean, LinkedIn is a great place. That's where your professional people are going to go. Let's say you can go to Instagram and you can put it in your story. You can swipe and put text in there. You could go jump on. It gives you a reason to be like, hey, I'm in this neighborhood today and I have a client that's looking at this house. It doesn't quite fit the bill, but I am looking for something. You know, it gives you a reason to go out and put some video content out there and gives you some content. Plus, again, the impression that you're making is that you're going the extra mile for your client, and that may be visible to them if you already know them and have a relationship with them. Okay. Oh, I'm running. Okay, practical methods navigating the off-market landscape with precision. So effective strategies. Okay, so we kind of talked about this, and it's sort of like redundant, but for buyers and developers and investors, you're contacting top agents, you're sending direct mailers, you're utilizing online platforms, and we just went over all of that. But let's say for listings, okay, let's explore expired listings, and let's go back 7+ years. Let's say these people wanted to sell their property and they wanted an incredible price then, and that price was unattainable. But now, since we've had an incredible increase in like such a short period of time, that price is more than doable. And you have a client that's looking, or you know that you can sell this property now for that value. Researching public records, it's like your best tool. You know, you got it right in your fingertips, use it and use it often. And again, targeted mailers and whatnot and unconventional sources like Craigslist are good places to go. Okay, so in conclusion, off-market deals can be a game changer for your buyers. And it can, and not only your buyers, but yourself and your business. It gives you a leg up with more choices and better deals. I'll tell you one other thing, like what we look for. We are always looking for our developers, right? So, I mean, I'm constantly scouring and trying to look and send those mailers to the people that have owned their house for 20+ years in very specific areas that we want to work in, because, or maybe we're doing drive-bys, right? Like there's a bunch of other things too. There's door knocking. If you see a dumpster, you know, you want to drop your card, you want to knock on the door, you can't be in this business and be shy, right? So the worst that somebody can say is no. So you want to take that initiative. Real estate auctions, cold calling, bandit signs, you know, we talked about the wholesalers, and I think I got it all. Referrals are huge. And I think that sort of summarizes everything. So I hope you found that to be at least a little informative for you. Does anybody have any questions? And feel free to just take yourself off of mute and dive in. Pretty informal. No one? I got nothing.
Hey, Erica, this is Roger. This presentation, is this available after the meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to share.
Okay.
Yep, 100%. I can, I believe Chirag always makes them available because I share the deck with him, and I believe that it'll be on his platform.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Let me see if there's anything in here. Anything else? Well, there's a bunch of AI assistant stuff. Okay, anybody else? Well, if not, then I hope you guys have a great day. And Roger, thanks for being with you. I think I recognize Mai as well. So thank you for being here. And Laura, of course, and Denise and Daniel and Bill. I hope you all found this to be a good session for you. And if you have any questions at all, my information is there. So, you know, it's all on Chirag's site. So if you have, well, I guess I hope you guys have a great weekend. It's going to be beautiful here in Boston. Yeah.
Thank you, Erica. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Okay, how do I get off now? Stop sharing and